Hello everybody. It's your girl Tanya. I have the lovely Sophia with me today. This is another installment of Biz Talk. If it's your first time here, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. You know how we do it here. We're sharing everything marketing, entrepreneurship, everything that you need to get your business on track. So today we're speaking to the lovely Sophia all the way to the from the Philippines. And
Hey.
she's talking to us today about content marketing. We all know that marketing is a form of attraction, it's a seduction game to attract or ideal clients. Often in social media, people often just see social media advertising, but one of the realities is that a lot of people now have ad block. I have ad block. I hate ads.
Yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
find a way to attract, to
Yeah.
get your ideal client to listen to you without feeling like, oh, another ad. So Sophia is a social media manager and she's going to speak to us today. So Sophia, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited to talk to you.
Me too, me too. I haven't done a recording in a while and
Oh, really?
I thought content marketing was a good one because a lot of people struggle
Mhm.
with that. I know that I
Yeah.
initially struggled with content marketing.
Yeah. No, yeah,
So,
it's super complicated. Like, it
yeah,
can
it
be
can
really
be.
intimidating.
It
Yeah, it
can
can
be
be.
intimidating because having worked with some clients, I've realized a lot of people want to start with content marketing, but they don't really know like how to start, where to start from. So the first question
Yeah.
I wanted to throw at you was, why is content marketing so important?
Okay. Well, first of all, content is just super, super powerful. So whether you're a business or even if like you're just a regular person, everyone is a content creator. Everyone creates content, everyone posts online. But the question is, are you using it strategically? So that's why content marketing is so important, because the truth of the matter is people are on social media to build relationships. So, for example, if they follow a friend, they follow the friend because they want to stay updated in their friends' lives. They want to know what they're up to. Um,
Mm-hmm,
and every time that friend posts, they show more and more of themselves to their followers. So it's the same
mm-hmm,
with businesses or brands. But it's even harder because you want that relationship with your audience, but then you don't have like, you have to create a connection from scratch. So
mm-hmm.
that's why content marketing is so important, because it really like establishes and solidifies uh, connection and a relationship with your audience that other forms of marketing or advertising really can't fulfill. Content marketing really just creates genuine connection, so it's super important to have that when it comes to having a business or a brand.
No, I can definitely relate with that because I mean, having started when I started creating content, and initially wasn't very serious with it as a business
Yeah.
or as a brand, and I
Yeah.
think I got a lot more consistent in creating content during lockdown. Like lockdown basically taught us that listen, you need to
Yeah.
get on the internet, you need to
Yeah.
create that kind of connections, and but I must admit, like it was intimidating, like trying to let people into your life, trying to show more of yourself.
Yeah.
It can come across as intimidating, and having worked with brands, which is ironic because I would work with brands was in terms of content creation, but I really wasn't creating content in terms of myself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it can feel like you constantly on the spin. There are so many platforms that you need to use. This Pinterest, this Instagram, this LinkedIn,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
everything. Like so, it kind of feels intimidating to a lot of people. So,
Yeah.
how does a brand choose which platform is best for them?
Okay. Well, I think when it comes to content marketing, the first and most important thing is that you have to really know your audience. So you have to really identify what your niche is, and look for people in that niche and find where they are. So for example, if let's say you're a beauty brand, then obviously you know that Instagram is the place to be, because Instagram is all about like aesthetic, all about like the visuals. But then when it comes to, let's say you're business coach, then the place
Mm-hmm.
you want to be is probably either Facebook or LinkedIn, because Facebook and LinkedIn is where people really have like conversations, where you create communities, with Facebook groups and LinkedIn. So you really have to establish your objectives and establish your niche so that you really know where you have to be. You really have to, like I always say, like I am such an organizational freak. I really like to organize everything. So when I'm coming up with content, I really have to make sure that everything is objective based. So when I come
Mm-hmm.
up with something, I'm like, okay, what's the objective of this campaign? What's the objective of this piece of content? And with that, um, you'll know what you need to do. When you know your objectives, you'll know what you need to do, you'll know where you need to be, you'll know how you need to say it. So um, first and foremost, you need to know your brand and know your audience, and that's how you'll identify where you need to be.
That is so true. That is so true. And I think when I got really into the nitty gritty of things, that's how I was able to actually identify where I wanted to be, what kind of
Yeah,
content I wanted to create, which is
yeah,
ironic because I know that as a business coach and a marketing strategist, I mostly use Instagram. I think my audience
yeah,
on Instagram and LinkedIn has gotten bigger
yeah,
over the years than maybe Facebook, because Facebook
yeah.
organic traffic has become really hard. So
True. Yeah,
the one thing, because you have to create so much content, and I'm creating content for YouTube, creating content for Instagram, for LinkedIn, and then sometimes for Facebook, it can feel overwhelming, really overwhelming. So how does one start like creating content without actually feeling like they're running in a wheel? Because it feels like you have to be here, you have to be on Pinterest, there's so much information out there. When you get on the internet, there's so much information. They'll tell you you need to be on Pinterest to drive traffic, you have to be this, you have to do, so you feel like you have to be everywhere. And
yeah,
then when you start creating content for everywhere, you lag behind because you feel like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. So
yeah,
what can somebody do in terms of being able to create content effectively and efficiently? And also maybe you can tell us about like you as a social media manager, how does that help, like having a social media manager to help you in those kind of instances?
yeah. Well, I think the most effective thing that you can do is to just plan ahead. I think planning ahead is super important, like creating a content calendar, coming up with a list of campaigns that you can do, and kind of just listing down what you want to do, and then creating content based on that. I think that's the most effective way to not be overwhelmed, because
Mm-hmm.
like you know what you need to do. When you plan ahead, you already know what you need to post, you already know what you want to post.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just list down, like create a content calendar. I know some people don't really follow a content calendar, but for me, I think it's really so effective, because you can, um let's say you have to work on something else another day, you can work
Mm-hmm.
on everything you need to work for social media, let's say in one day, and then
Mm-hmm.
just plot that out. So I think, yeah, the most important thing is to really just plan ahead and know, just organize everything. Again, I'm sorry if that sounds super nerdy, but I think that's really the most effective way. Like I think the first thing you need to do is find your niche, find your audience, get to know where they are, and get to know who they're following, get to know what they're liking and what they're commenting on, because that will kind of give you an idea um, about what you need to be talking about and about what you need to be posting. And then when you find that, when you found like some inspiration, when you found like what your audience is interacting with, that's when you come
Mm-hmm.
up with a list of objectives. So let's say you want this campaign to be relatable. You want to
Mm-hmm.
this campaign to show relatability and authenticity, or do you want this campaign to be informational, or so and so on and so forth. So come up with objectives and then list down campaigns or types of content based on your objectives. And that's honestly like the first few weeks is the hardest part, because that's when you're really like brainstorming. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you have this like kind of machine going on already, then it will become such a natural thing to create content, because you already know like, okay, this is what I need to do, then this is what I need to create. Just try your best. I mean, obviously you have to be open to adjustments, because like content, social media is so unpredictable. But then for me, like, it's really good to plan as much as you can, and also to, you know, interact with your audience and get them into your content as well. So let's say if your audience tags you in a post, then that's already free content for you, and that's
Mm-hmm.
free exposure. So yeah, create content that gets your audiences engaged as well, and um, engage your audience with your actual content. You know what I mean? Sorry, it's like going in a
Yeah.
circle, but get your audience into your actual content, because that's super, like, that's free content for you. So that's super useful. Um, and yeah, just um, be organized.
So when you're speaking about having a content marketing calendar, so that's the
Hmm.
is a calendar, the plan, is it a weekly plan, or is it that you have to have a monthly plan? Because maybe this week you want to talk about sales, and next week you want to talk about something else, or is it that you really just do everything for 1 month and then just start putting it out there?
It's up to you. Like, it depends per client, honestly. Like, some of my clients, I do a whole month's worth of content already, but then some of my clients, I do it weekly. Um, so I think it is up to you, whatever suits you better. If I think it would be good to at least have like the topics of your content for a month already ready, and then
Mm-hmm.
create the content on a weekly basis, so that you already know what you're gonna do. But yeah, it's really up to you, whatever you think is better for you. Like me, again, it really varies per client. But then yeah, it's what's good is that you have like your baselines, so that you know where to go from there.
Okay, so like for somebody, I know that a lot of brands are getting now into social media. I think I read some stats the other day. I was writing a blog post, and I read some
Mhm.
stats that a lot of more people got on the internet now after the
Mm.
pandemic than there were
Yeah.
before. And there's so much form. I mean, there's another form of content that people don't really talk about is podcasting as well. So
Mhm.
um the one thing I wanted to talk about is, as a social media manager, like for brands, how
Mhm.
does a social media, because sometimes people feel like, oh, I can do it on my own, but
Yeah.
then it can get overwhelming. So how does
Yeah.
somebody that is thinking of having a social media manager, how does a social media manager make your life easier? Because obviously
Mhm.
if you want to delegate, you want something that makes your life easier. So how does that
Yeah.
help, having one in place?
It super helps, because like, it's, I mean, for me, I mean, I'm biased obviously, but
Yeah.
I think investing in a social media manager will take so much off your plate, because I think that doing content on your own and not really knowing what you're doing is kind of a waste of time, honestly.
True.
So social media managers know already like what works. They know
Mhm.
how to find the audience that you need. They know
Mhm.
like market trends. They know
Mhm.
like updates, if there's like updates on the algorithm, or if there's updates
Mhm.
like if Instagram has new like features and stuff like that, if they have new like the reels and stuff like that, if they have
Mhm.
new, what's the word, if they have new like yeah, if they have new
Features.
features in their app,
Mhm.
then social media managers will know that that's what you need to be doing. It's
Mhm.
like, it's like giving advice to a friend versus that friend like going to a psychiatrist and talking to a professional.
Exactly.
Well, your advice may work to a certain extent, but then there's really a difference when you talk to like a professional about it who knows what they're talking about. So I think
Mhm.
a social media manager is really worth the investment, because it's just, you get the most bang for your buck, I think, with social media managers. Um, so yeah.
Okay, another thing I wanted to ask, like, what is a good content marketing strategy?
hmm
What
Um,
would be considered a good content marketing strategy
a
for
good
personal brands and business
yeah,
brands?
yeah. Well, honestly, there is no, I really don't think there's no like one size fits all thing.
Mhm.
But a good content strategy is a strategy that shows authenticity,
Mhm.
that tries to connect with the audience, that focuses on communication rather than conversion,
Mhm.
um, that tries to trigger emotions, and
Mhm.
tells a story, just something that gives value to your audience, rather than just pushing for sales, or like asking, oh,
Mhm.
buy this, like sale, whatever. Rather than just pushing for sales, you have to create content that really shows that you are delivering value to your audience, and that you are worth investing in. So once you establish that relationship with your audience, that's when they're going to start to trust you, and that's when they're going to start investing in you. So you really have to prioritize conversations over conversions, especially right now. Like during the time of Corona, like not everyone is going to have the same means to
Mhm.
spend as much as they can. But then if you create lasting connections with your audience and you create real relationships, then along the line, they're going to be willing to invest in you more and more. So I think that right now during this time, content should really be focused on creating connections and triggering emotions, giving
Mhm.
value. Um,
Definitely. Definitely. I
yeah,
mean, value-based content is actually great,
yeah,
and I realized that even myself, when I started creating more value-based content, where I was giving tips
yeah,
and techniques and strategies, I realized that my following started growing, whether on
yeah,
LinkedIn
yeah.
or on Instagram, because people want to learn, and obviously
Exactly.
people do love free things. That is,
Yeah,
we all love a free thing.
true.
And speaking even of free things, I noticed that you do have certain free master classes that you
hmm
offer
Yeah,
on social media marketing and everything. Can you maybe tell us about it?
sure. Well, I actually have a free masterclass today, later tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna air by then. So, um, but yeah, I have a free masterclass tonight, and I also have a free 3-part mini course
Mhm.
called the Spark course. The
Mhm.
Spark formula is something that I created to help. help create objectives for social media strategy. So it's called the Spark Formula. If you want to learn more about it, then I have a free course on it, and I also have a, well, this isn't free, but then I have
Mm-hmm.
a 5-part course on unleashing your authentic brand voice and
Mm-hmm.
getting consistent with your messaging. So I have a 5-part course on that, and it's actually discounted right now for $32 from $99. So yeah.
Oh, and where can somebody, if somebody's interested in such a course, where can they find your course?
On my website, so that's sofiaqge.com. And
Mm-hmm.
everything's there, like my information, my courses, my services, they're all there. So they can all find it in the website.
So if can you maybe tell us if somebody's interested in getting in touch with you, where can they, what is the best way they can get in touch with you?
I would say either on my email. So
Mm-hmm.
that's sfquiouogue@gmail.com, or through Instagram DM. They can DM me at SOFIAQGE. So that's Sophia QGE. Or I also have a Facebook page. So it's also Sophia QGE on Facebook. So any of that, honestly, I'm everywhere. Or LinkedIn even. I'm
But
everywhere.
it's good. It's good to be everywhere, but it's just like you
Yeah.
said, it's about planning ahead and
Hmm.
being strategic
Yeah.
about how you're going to post content all over the place.
Yeah.
Because I myself, I'm on YouTube, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. But obviously I had to find a strategy that works for me. And
Yeah.
obviously there's another thing where I know people might not like it, some people don't agree with it, but I'm a huge fan of repurposing content.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a fan
Yeah.
of repurposing content. So
No,
obviously
yeah.
I create content for one platform and can spread it all over because my
Yeah, for
audience is not
sure.
the same everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to
So
mention I also have YouTube. I also have a YouTube channel that I just started actually. So it's
and what
Sophia's
do you
Choice.
share on your YouTube? What do you share
Um,
on your YouTube?
So I give social media tips actually. So every Wednesday I post social media hacks. And then I also am just about to start a new series called Blending and Trending. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be doing my makeup while talking about like social media trends and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that one.
None, I will definitely check it out. And for everybody listening and watching, I'll put the link in the description box for YouTube and for the podcast for in the show notes. So I'll put all the details, all the free
Thank you.
courses, because y'all need to check out free things because you learn a lot
Yes.
also in these free courses. And if you're interested in getting in touch with her and getting hold of her courses at $32 for what she's giving away, that's that's a gift. That's a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
I cannot stress that enough. Social media, if you don't spend the time to invest either your time or money in that, you're going to be wasting your time and
Yes.
not connecting to your actual audience. So thank you so much, Sophia, for speaking to us. I know
Thank
that
you.
we planned this for quite a while,
I
but I'm so
know.
grateful that we were able to make it happen.
I know,
Thank
me
you
too.
for speaking to
I
us.
hope you learned a lot.
I definitely did, and I hope that everybody out there learned something, especially for
Yeah,
content
yeah,
marketing. For 2021, guys, we need to change. We need to change the way we do things and
yeah,
invest our time as a brand, whether you're a personal brand, whether you're a business brand, invest in content marketing. Take your time to actually think about it. And then if you can't do it, then there's people like Sophia that can do it for you and you don't have to do it on your own. So
yes.
everybody out there, thank you for listening. Don't forget to
Thank you.
subscribe, like, follow the podcast because you know we're going to be sharing a whole lot more. So on that note, we're going to log off and check out other videos. There are some other videos on building your brand, whether you want to be how to learn to be an entrepreneur, or even I did a free webinar that you guys can check on the channel. It's called Social Media Marketing Strategy, the 3 steps. So you guys can do that. So on that note, thank you so much for tuning
Thank
in,
you.
and it's bye bye for us.
Thank you.